Your dog started acting differently 3 days before you even realized you were depressed. You probably wrote it off. Maybe you thought she was just tired, or picking up on the weather, or being strange for no reason. But she was tracking something real, something your own mind hadn't yet named. This is not intuition. It is not magic. It is biology so precise it makes every human sensor ever built look crude by comparison. And once you understand the mechanism, you will never look at your dog the same way again. There's a moment a lot of people describe when they look back on a hard season of their life. They say something like, "My dog knew before I did. She stopped leaving my side. She kept putting her head in my lap. She was different, quieter, more deliberate, and I didn't understand why at the time." And then weeks later, everything fell apart and suddenly it made sense. Here's what's fascinating about that experience. It is not a coincidence. It is not anthropomorphism. It is not the kind of soft, sentimental thing people say because they love their dogs and want to believe they are special. It is a documented, measurable biological phenomenon happening in real time, every single day, in your home, with your dog. What your dog is doing is reading a stream of physiological data that your own conscious mind has not yet processed. She is detecting changes in your body chemistry, your movement patterns, your breathing, your skin, changes so subtle that no human being around you would notice them. Not your partner, not your closest friend, not even you, but your dog notices. And in this video, I want to walk you through exactly how that works. The specific biological signals your dog is reading, why her sensory system is built for precisely this kind of detection, and what that means for the relationship you actually have with her, not the one you imagined you had. Let us start with smell, because that's where most people's understanding begins and ends. You've probably heard that dogs have an extraordinary sense of smell. 300 million olfactory receptors compared to about 6 million in humans. A brain region dedicated to analyzing scent that is, proportionally, 40 times larger than ours. These are impressive numbers, but the numbers do not tell you what the capability actually means in practice. Here's what it means. When your body moves through stress, real stress, not the kind you've consciously registered yet, but the low-grade background hum that starts before your mind catches up, your adrenal glands begin releasing cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone. Hormones are molecules. Molecules have a scent signature. And your dog can detect that signature at concentrations so low they are measured in parts per trillion. To put that in perspective, that's the equivalent of detecting a single drop of a substance dissolved in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Your body is broadcasting a chemical message, and your dog is reading it in real time, before the message has reached your own conscious awareness. A 2021 study published in PLOS One confirmed this directly. Researchers trained dogs to detect samples from people experiencing acute psychological stress, specifically elevated cortisol and adrenaline, and the dogs identified the stress samples with accuracy rates above 90%. They weren't reading body language in that experiment. They were reading breath and sweat. Pure chemistry. Your dog is doing a version of this every single day, but cortisol is only one signal. And here's where it gets more interesting. Your respiration changes when you are emotionally dysregulated, even when you are completely unaware of it. The rate changes, the depth changes, the rhythm shifts. When you are moving toward a depressive episode, or sitting inside anxiety you haven't named yet, your breathing becomes shallower. The intervals between breaths become slightly irregular. These are changes that no human observer would catch. They're too small, too gradual. But your dog's olfactory system is also an air sampling system. She is reading the chemical composition of each breath you exhale, the ratio of carbon dioxide, the volatile organic compounds, the metabolic byproducts that shift with your internal state. She is essentially running a continuous, passive chemical analysis on the air around you. Every exhale you take is data. Now let us talk about something even more invisible, microtremors. When you are under emotional stress, your muscles do not simply tense and relax in clean, obvious ways. Your nervous system begins producing tiny, involuntary microcontractions in your muscle fibers. These are not tremors in the visible, dramatic sense. You cannot see them in the mirror. You cannot feel them. But they are there, measurable with sensitive enough equipment, and perceptible to a sensory system fine-tuned over tens of thousands of years to read mammalian bodies in precise detail. Your dog feels these micro-tremors when she's leaning against you, when her head is resting on your leg, when your hand is on her back. She is feeling the texture of your physical state through contact, the same way a skilled clinician might feel for subtle changes in pulse or tissue tension. Your body is not still, even when you think it is. And she knows. Your heart rate is another channel. Dogs can hear at frequencies and sensitivities far beyond human capacity. A resting heart rate is audible to a dog at close range. Changes in that rate, the slight acceleration that comes with unacknowledged anxiety, the irregular pattern that accompanies emotional suppression, are information. When she puts her head on your chest, she is not just being affectionate. She is reading you. And then there is skin. Emotional states trigger changes in skin conductance, what researchers call electrodermal activity. Essentially, the tiny sweat glands in your skin respond to sympathetic nervous system activation, changing the moisture level and chemical composition of your skin's surface. This is the same phenomenon measured by polygraph machines. Your skin is a broadcast medium. Your dog's nose is the receiver. So when your dog started acting differently before you consciously knew something was wrong, before you admitted to yourself that something was building, she was not guessing. She was reading a multi-channel stream of biological data with a sensory apparatus built for exactly that purpose. But here's what nobody talks about. It's not just detection, it's interpretation. This is where it gets genuinely remarkable. Your dog is not only sensing these signals, she has learned, through her entire life with you, what they mean. Dogs are extraordinary pattern learners. They map signals to outcomes. They learn the specific physiological signature of your happiness, your irritability, your calm, your grief. Not in the abstract, yours specifically. Your individual biochemical fingerprint in each emotional state. This is why your dog's responses are not generic. She is not reacting to human stress in some broad, categorical way. She is reacting to you, to the specific deviation from your personal baseline, calibrated over months and years of continuous observation. When your cortisol profile shifts from your normal range, she notices. Not because it is dramatic, because it is different from you. Think about what that means. Your dog carries a more detailed physiological model of your emotional states than any person in your life does. More detailed than your doctor, who sees you for 20 minutes a year. More detailed than your partner, who is processing their own internal stream and can only observe you through limited human senses. Your dog has been running continuous, high-resolution biometric monitoring on you since the day she came home. And she has been building a map. This also explains the response pattern, why she doesn't just detect, but responds in calibrated ways. The physical proximity, the deliberate placement of weight against you, the sustained, soft eye contact. These are not random comfort behaviors. Research in dog cognition suggests these are intentional regulatory strategies. Dogs who live closely with humans develop what behaviorists call social buffering behaviors. Actions specifically aimed at reducing the arousal level of their human. And the dogs who do this most effectively are the ones who read most accurately. Your dog showing up at your side 3 days before you crashed is not an accident of timing. It's the output of an incredibly sophisticated detection and response system that evolved over a very long relationship between two species. Dogs did not survive and thrive alongside humans by being indifferent to human emotional states. The dogs who could read their humans clearly, who could respond to emotional volatility appropriately, who could reinforce positive states and soothe negative ones, those dogs had better outcomes. That capacity was selected for, generation after generation, until it became what it is today. Something so precise it operates faster than your own self-awareness. Now here's the piece that most people miss entirely. This system runs in both directions. Your dog is reading you constantly, but you are also broadcasting constantly. And the implications of that are not just scientifically interesting. They are practically significant for how you show up with your dog every day. When you are anxious on a walk, your cortisol is elevated, your breathing is altered, your grip on the leash has micro-tension in it that you cannot consciously control. Your dog reads all of it. She does not need you to say a single word. She already knows your internal state, and she responds to that state, not to your intentions. This is why suppression doesn't work. You can smile and use a cheerful voice and think you are presenting as calm, but your biochemistry tells her a different story, and she believes your biochemistry. Conversely, when you are genuinely calm, not performed calm, but physiologically regulated, breathing slow, cortisol low, muscle tone relaxed, she reads that too, and she regulates toward it. Your actual internal state is the most powerful communication tool you have with your dog. Not your words, not your commands, not your training techniques. Your body. This is something that tends to quietly reorganize how people think about their relationship with their dog. The connection isn't something you build only through structured training or deliberate interaction. It's something that exists at the level of continuous biological exchange. Every moment you spend near your dog, information is moving in both directions. She is reading you. And in the truest sense, you are in conversation. A conversation that never pauses, that requires no language, and that she is, in many respects, far more fluent in than you are. The fact that she was there, head in your lap, quiet, steady, before you even knew you needed her, that was not luck. That was 10,000 years of refinement showing up exactly when it was supposed to. If this landed for you, if something clicked about what's actually happening between you and your dog, then the next step is understanding how your dog reads your body language in real time during daily interactions. Because that mechanism runs alongside everything we covered here, and it will change how you think about every walk, every training session, every quiet evening on the couch. There's a video on this channel that goes deep on exactly that. Watch it next, and you will come away with a completely different understanding of what your dog is actually responding to when she looks at you. Go find it. It connects directly to this. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, scan the QR code on the screen right now to subscribe and join the Pawsome Life family. Give your dog a belly rub for us, and we will see you in the next video.